Welcome into Orange&White Takeover. I'm Noah Caldwell.
I'm John Broyles.
Matthew Brewer.
Today we got a special guest in the studio. Mike, our usual producer, couldn't be here, so we're joined by my brother, Caleb Caldwell. How you doing today, Caleb?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me, guys.
So, Caleb, give a little backstory on yourself.
I'm a recovering Florida fan.
Recovering Florida addict.
Florida addict. I'm a new student at UT and a future Vol for life.
You've already started. You're not a future Vault for life.
You are a Vol for life.
I feel like that's
right
a
there.
thing that happens for the rest of my life. Not really a present thing, but okay.
No, it is.
All right.
It is.
So how are we feeling this close to, games starting up? We're 10. First off, we've been trying to figure this out. Is today 10 days out or is it 9 days out? Because if you continue at 10 days, which everybody's saying, sports animals say it's 10 days left. We've been tweeting our countdown, and today we're at 10 days. But if you continue this countdown, we'll be saying 1 day left Saturday morning, and obviously that's not correct. So is everybody just messed up on this thing right now?
I think it's just kind of the way that people do it, honestly. I don't know why they do it like that. Maybe it's because I don't even know if anybody has ever really worn the number 0, but that very well could be the reason, or it just could be just because that's always how it's been done. I mean, that's not how we did it whenever I played college ball or high school ball or anything like that, but
Got your little countdown clock.
Yeah, got your countdown clock up there.
0 days, but
I guess whatever.
We'll roll with it.
We'll roll with it.
Getting excited here for football, tailgating, fall. It's just it's a nice season. I'm excited, but at the same time, a little apprehensive. I mean, we have no idea what this team's going to look like, what we're going to, what our coaching staff is honestly going to look like in action. I mean, we've basically gotten these snippets, but everything that we get that are even insider sources get a 10-minute look at a 2-hour practice.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what the on-field product is going to look like week 1 against a really competitive team. One thing that I heard this week that was really interesting is that in all of the human vote polls that are actually taking into account a person making a vote and ranking everyone, all of them have West Virginia ranked at least. And I think the minimum, the bottom was, 25. It may have been 22. The average being about 17. And then the highest being 10 by Sports Illustrated. But then if you take it to all of the computer-based analytics polls, West Virginia isn't ranked in any of them.
Yeah,
really?
Any of them.
Really? I did not know that.
And
Ranked last in sanitary with the hands, mouth, and feet disease.
I think week 1 we're going to be able to really tell how overrated or underrated or well-rated West Virginia is, honestly.
They also just lost another corner. I saw where they're down to like 5 scholarship corners, which is
That's
thin
not
for
that
that
many.
for that position group. So
they usually
you can have
8
5
or 9
on 5.
Yeah, you can have 5 on the field.
yeah, so I think you start to look at West Virginia fans now, and they're saying to win this game against our offense, which was last in the SEC, they think they're going to have to score 41 to 45 points. That's how bad they think their defense is going to be going into this one. So I'm excited. The last few weeks we've really gone in depth with the fall camp. We're going to stick a little bit away from that because there's not a whole lot more that's come out of camp. J.J. Peterson's still not on campus. We still don't know who the quarterback's going to be. And you guys,
Trey Smith's back.
Trey Smith is back. That is big news. And we saw video yesterday of him throwing guys to the ground, which is awesome. But outside of that, I mean, you got guys that are back healthy with Chance Hall's back full participant now, which is huge. Trey Smith's back full participant. Marquez Callaway's back as a full participant, and also Juwan Jennings. So those guys are all back. Darren Kirkland, he continues to be limited, but in a strategical way by the coaching staff to keep him healthy throughout this year because he's yet to show the ability to be able to do that. Other guy that I saw got banged up is Marcus Tatum in the scrimmage.
Yep.
He was a limited participant yesterday, I believe.
Probably just an ankle thing.
Yeah.
Something small where they don't want no point to hurt him any worse yet. But
which now it's looking like he's not even going to be in the starting group as they have Drew Richmond has been moved over to right tackle. I think it's pretty confirmed at this point that he's going to be playing right tackle going into that first game. Trey Smith's going to be at left tackle. Right now, it looks like it's a battle for that left guard between 3 guys with Riley Locklear, Jerome Carvin, and Jameer Johnson has actually been moved in there. So I'm working at both left guard and left tackle. Your center, that's a confirmed starter with Kennedy.
Yep.
I'd still say Ryan Johnson.
I think Ryan Johnson's almost a solid. Him or Chance Hall's going to end up getting that guard position, but I think Ryan Johnson has that nailed down at this point. Which, I mean, there's guys that wouldn't even mention there with Calbert. Obviously, Chance Hall is going to be working on the right side of that offensive line. Marcus Tatum, like we were saying, is hurt. You've just got other guys that can rotate in, which is a huge thing this year. There's just a lot more depth than we've seen in the past. But like I said, we're not going to get too much into that. So let's get into some fun stuff, okay? Season predictions. Do you guys want to go game by game, or do you want to go through your entire list? Or
We can go. I don't know.
let's just go game by game.
Let's go game by game.
Yeah.
All right. So
Let's be very honest here. First off, we're all these types of guys. We can go. We went from about feeling like we could go 0-12 at the beginning or at the end of last year to
that's a
we're
Bush-
natty
Bush
champions
here.
this year. We're winning a ship this year. Okay.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely. You know.
But we'll try and keep it as blatantly honest as we can.
And each of us has our own tendencies. Matt's a little bit more pessimistic, while John and I can seem to be a little bit more optimistic, and you'll see that with our predictions.
Mhm.
So let's start with West Virginia. Matt, what do you got?
I know a lot of people think this game's going to be close. I think this game could very well be close. If we're down by more than a touchdown at half, we don't win. I see no chance of winning. And I think that we're going to be down by more than a touchdown at half. I think we lose this one. I think we lose this one fairly handedly. Not by a ridiculous amount of points, but
Don't give her your
maybe
actual
21.
score. We'll save the actual score predictions for the individual weeks
Yeah.
of those games. But for
Yeah.
right now, just who's going to win.
I'd say I see West Virginia winning this game with some ease, not easily, but pulling away at the end type of game where we've got end up with all of our second and third string guys in, and they score an easy touchdown here and there, and
So we don't
on and
cover.
so forth. No, I do not believe so.
Do not cover the 10 points. All right. So we were talking about Matt being a pessimist. So now that we moved on from the doom and gloom, John, what do you got for us?
I mean, I honestly leading up to this week, I've been pretty positive, and I really, really, really want to say we're going to beat West Virginia. But I think that this is, in all legitimacy, going to be the perfect example of a classic Tennessee game, that we are going to duke it out, stay in this damn game, just keep it close the whole time. Defense is going to play phenomenally. Offense is going to have some breakaway plays, and it's going to look like we got a chance to win this thing. And I think Will Greer is going to get a late play, and that they're going to end up winning by a touchdown or less, I think.
Yeah, I'm sitting here wanting to take Tennessee, and I'm right on there. I think this could be one of these games where it comes down to an early season injury. If one team or the other has a guy go down, I mean, you saw how poorly West Virginia played down the line last year.
Yep.
As soon as Greer got hurt, they went 0-3 or 0-4, including the bowl game. So right now, I'm going to stick a close game where West Virginia wins. Tennessee does cover. But if there does happen to be an injury to someone like David Sills or Will Greer or Glenn Jennings, I definitely could see that going in the Vols direction. But the same could be said. There's certain positions. Offensively, you can't really say because if you lose one of your wide receivers, there's another guy to pop up. Same with running back. Same with quarterback even.
Offensive line, not as much. Quarterback.
Yeah. I mean,
it's harder to replace somebody who you think is going to be your Heisman candidate.
We're not as susceptible to losing a big-time guy and those kind of things. So defensively is what I worry more about if one of our starting corners goes down, and obviously with a thin, inexperienced cornerback position group, if one of those starters goes down who they feel the most comfortable with, then you start to, And
even the defensive line, not the defensive line. I mean, you lose a defensive lineman, you can plug another one in there, but
there's not a lot of depth.
There's no depth there is the problem. So it's very dependent on early or injuries. I could definitely see Tennessee keeping this game close. I could see this game going very similar to the Tennessee-Georgia Tech game last year, except for us on the other side of that.
Gotcha.
Losing double overtime or
you just said we were going to get blown out.
Well, I think we'll lose fairly handily. Yeah, I know.
Lou Holtz in studio?
Oh my goodness, dear Lord.
I'm
saying I could see it going that way. I don't think we win this game, but I could see us keeping it close.
All right. Not to get too hung up on the first game, let's move on to ETSU. Let's just recap. We're all sitting at 0-1.
0-1.
ETSU. Anybody going to make the bold prediction that the third year program?
No.
Third regular year?
Fourth year.
Fourth year would have been
Fourth year.
Fourth year.
That's right. Fourth year FCS team comes into Neyland Stadium. Neyland. Sorry.
Neyland?
Sorry.
It
was just a comes into Neyland with a former offensive coordinator, former quarterback for the Vols, and beats us. Does anybody actually think that happens?
It's a drubbing.
My boys up there, man, they're going to pull it out. No, I'm kidding. But as a former ETSU player, I will say this. For an FCS team, well, I mean, I'm going to be biased one way or another in this case. I mean, I love that school. I love that place and all that. I love those guys. I know all the guys that play still pretty much. I mean, they're going to lose. Let's be honest here. ETSU's not going to win this game. But they do, me knowing a lot of them, they do have some talent. They've got a bunch of guys who are four-year starters. They've got a bunch. I think they had 4 transfers from Division I FBS colleges this year. I believe one of them being for quarterback. One of them who's competing for the quarterback job right now. Obviously it'll be a pretty good win for Tennessee. I'd like to see them keep it kind of close just because I'm a little biased here, but I don't think they will. I think Tennessee wins this one really easily.
So there isn't any reason to talk about it?
Drubbing in Neyland.
Oh my goodness.
Move on. I mean, it's gonna be preparation for Florida is what it is.
Yeah,
it's repping your quarterbacks, repping everybody that you have questions about, and you really want to see their game film. Mm-hmm. And you want to guys that you are trying to make a decision before that Florida game on who are we going to start, who are we going to lean on in crunch time. That is what it is going to be ETSU and UTEP. I mean, if we want to just go ahead and cruise right through this, boys, because, I mean, 2 non-conference home games with teams that should not even compete with us, especially at home.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm looking up the score from the Tennessee versus Tennessee Tech game from a couple years ago.
48-0, 49.
It was bad.
55-0. It's going to be something along those lines.
Yeah.
They may score. Let's move on.
Score late.
We play UTEP next. I think
Feel pretty similar about that.
Let me see.
I think we played UTEP before. I do believe.
Not in my recent memory.
Not in recent memory. I think it might have been a while, but I do believe we played UTEP before. I think this is another easy win for Tennessee.
UTEP last year went 0-1, 0-2, 0-3, 0-4, 0-5, 0-6, 0-7, 0-8, 0-9, 0-10, 0-11.
Tell me when the last
0-12. No.
0-12.
0-12 UTEP, but they got Mike Canales.
They got Mike Canales.
He knows how to coach quarterbacks.
That is true.
It may not have been his fault. Saw a video of Dormady throwing balls at Houston's practice today, still off his back foot.
Still, I mean, Quentin Dormady is just a different character.
Every QB guru teaches you,
Pretty much gonna call this one fairly easily, I'd assume, for everybody right here.
2-1.
We played them in 86 and 90.
You remember that game?
Yeah, I remember that game.
Yeah.
we won 56-0, so we're on a 2-win streak against the Mighty Miners of UTEP.
The Mighty Miners.
Well,
fairly easy win there. Fairly easy win, I'd say, for everybody.
All three of us sitting at the same thing. 2-1.
2-1.
The Gators come into town.
You go ahead and go for this one. You go ahead and go first.
The Gators. Actually, I can't believe we forgot this. Caleb, what do you got so far? West Virginia?
2-0.
Wait.
We're 3 games, bud.
What do you got for West Virginia?
3-0.
3-0.
Really?
Oh. Caleb's the
optimist Florida
Optimist
fan.
Caleb?
I think he just wants to hop on the bandwagon.
I think Greer breaks his leg first quarter.
Not enough PDs?
Nothing can save him now.
Nigel Warrior just blows out his knee.
And they don't score.
They don't.
All right, well, Caleb's
3-0.
3-0 with a shutout of
a
top 10 passing offense.
All right,
we're winning a natty, right, Caleb?
That's right.
So we're all 2-1. Caleb's 3-0. And this is where I'm curious. Caleb, as a former Florida fan, let's hear. What do you think happens in this year's game? I mean, your boy Felipe Franks is in there at quarterback. You get Jordan Scarlett back. I didn't realize that until this week. It's a little scary to me, actually.
It comes down to a last-second Hail Mary for Tennessee. 4-0.
So we'll give them a dose of their own medicine.
That's right.
Okay.
Back years, huh?
Don't
I
quote
don't
me
see
on
it.
this, but
7-0?
that's my opinion.
7-0.
6-0.
Yeah, no extra point time.
No.
Florida blocked it.
Yeah, Florida. It's
6-2
We
when
scored
it returned.
We score a Hail Mary with
6-1.
1 second left. They pick off or block the extra point, run it back. We win 6-2.
That's a hell of a.
That's
That's
my
a hell of a
prediction.
right there.
All right, I guess I'm next. I will say back in May, back when a lot of fans around here were very pessimistic looking at this season, I looked at this man right here, and I said, Tennessee's going to beat Florida.
Still beating Florida, baby.
He said, no, they're not. I guarantee it. I said, if you're going to guarantee it, you're going to make a bet with me right now. $20 on this game. Tennessee pulls this game out. And you know what? The line for that, we're probably going to be favored, depending on how things go, by 1 to 2
Favored.
points. Yes, you get 3 points for being
Guarantee
home.
it.
I would say on a neutral site field, they pick Florida by 1 to 2 points. We get that 1 point, even to a 1 to 2 point favorite for us. Tennessee covers that. I think it ends up being a 10-point game. Tennessee, somewhere in the 31-21 range. So now we say we're going to get the scores, but Tennessee 3-1 after 4 weeks, looking really good heading into the tough stretch of the season.
I'd agree with that. I think that, Vol Nation is going to show out at Neyland. It's Pruitt's first big home game, first SEC game. Yep. I think that even if we play West Virginia extremely close and end up losing, there's still going to be a lot of optimism and excitement around the program and wanting to see.
There'll be that one way or another.
I mean,
obviously.
and it's the Florida game. We haven't had them here since 2016, obviously, when we broke the streak. So it'll be an exciting game. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere. I'm assuming going to be a lot of recruits in that weekend.
Hopefully a night game.
Hoping for the ESPN night slot. But I think we win that one. I think I like Pruitt. I think that honestly the defense is going to be able to handle, and as Noah hinted on in an earlier podcast, I think it's going to be hard to, and maybe hopefully Florida doesn't have their quarterback situation figured out yet, and that's kind of one of the advantages to kind of getting them earlier.
Some good news that I've heard, along that quarterback thing, some good news I heard this week is that Emory Jones just does not look ready, and that is a good thing.
That is a good thing.
Because that's what I think. With this game being earlier in the season, I think it helps us out a lot because I think both Franks and Trash are both pretty bad. Franks, yes, he has a heck of an arm, as we saw in the last play last year, but he sucked up until that point, and he's
we should have won that game. Is what it came down to. We should have won that game.
Yeah, and with both those guys, later on in the season, maybe Emory Jones finally has the mental capacity, the physical ability to go out there. He finally grasps things and starts looking great. Game 7, 8, 9, something like that. By playing them earlier in the year, we get to play against one of these not so great quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That helps us out tremendously, and it's a thing that's hurt us in the past by playing them as the third
week of
September.
That's absolutely a great point. Now, I do believe you and me have a bet as well because I was dumb and made the bet. Same bet I have with Noah. I made the same bet with him, just over a 6-pack of beer. But I am changing my prediction from when I made it back in May. I do believe Tennessee wins this game. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think this will be one of the better Tennessee-Florida games we've seen recently. Obviously, it's hard to top
a lot of.
It's hard to top some of them.
You look back at the last few. Last
It's
year,
hard
Hail
to
Mary,
top some of them.
Tennessee going 38 unanswered.
38 unanswered.
You got the 4th and 17 the year before.
Yep.
What was one the year
before was we lost 9-0.
10-9.
10-9. Yeah, that's right. Not
First
9-0.
checker Neyland.
Yep. We've had some close games with Florida over the past 4 or 5 years, and I think this year we pull it out again. Simply being at home is something else for us playing Florida. I mean, it's just another atmosphere. It's completely different than any other game of the year. And a little bit off topic here, but Noah posed this question to me.
No, getting off topic on this podcast.
A little off topic here, but Noah posed this question to me, and I guess he can tweet it out here in a second, maybe in a poll. But if we beat Florida last year, Florida does not complete that Hail Mary. Is Butch Jones still our coach? That's my question. We'll let you guys answer that for us. I think probably so. I think probably so. Good chance he's not.
I think
Tennessee football relies so much on that Florida Tennessee.
I think it changes the course of the season a little bit.
It changes the course of the season, yeah.
And I legitimately do think that if you get that win, you're 5. I think
you're 5 wins.
You minimum pick up another win. You're at 6. You're bowl eligible. I definitely
probably the Vandy game.
Very possibly. Butch Jones keeps his job. Now, I would hope that
he did jump ship.
The administration or somebody would make the right move at that point, because it's not Tennessee standards.
I say he leaves. He pulls a Conzo Martin before then he leaves because the fans hate him so much before anything else like that happens. But
I would hope.
Yeah, I think we all kind of would have been done with him at that point. If he only won 5 games, it would have been.
Yeah,
if he only won the 5 games, I think we probably would have kept him for another year. He might have left on his own, but that's a question for you guys. Actually, yeah, we'll get that out there to you here in just a second.
And it is posted.
It's posted. Give us your thoughts, please. Moving on to the Georgia game, guys. Georgia game. I think we all can kind of come to a consensus on this one too. We're all sitting at what? Georgia game. Yeah, we're all sitting at 3-1 right now.
3-1,
except for Caleb. 4-1 or 4-0. 4-0. My bad.
Hitting death row.
Caleb, what do you got for Georgia?
Whooping.
Whooping?
A whooping.
A whooping.
Which way?
Whooping that ass?
Not in our favor.
What was the score last year?
I just appreciate the fact that you're saying in our favor.
43-0.
43-0. I think it's probably pretty similar. I think our defense keeps them. Georgia game's another game that is usually tight for us. Usually close. I mean, obviously last year was our worst year ever. That was probably one of Georgia's best years ever.
I'm going to have a hard time bringing myself to actually buying a ticket. Yes, I'll go down to Athens because we like hanging out with all the Vol fans, especially the ones that travel because it's a passion of ours. But I am going to have a very hard time actually buying a ticket to go to that game unless I can find somebody selling one for cheap right at game time.
Yeah, I don't think any of us are going to end up. We'll be in the same boat.
It'll be hard for Tennessee to keep this any closer than 17.
Yep, I agree.
So, I mean, I'd love to be wrong. I mean, I really would, but
I don't think
this is a good Georgia team right now. It's one of the most talented teams in terms of current recruiting classes and
coming off a national championship appearance to sign the best recruiting class in history.
Yeah, something like that.
Your team has pretty good talent
and a lot currently having the number 1 recruiting class right now, right?
Yeah, I think they're up there.
I think they're 1 or 2, something like that. I mean, they've got signed the most 5-stars ever in one class last year. They've got multiple 5-star commits right now. I mean, this is just a good team right now. Yeah. This Georgia team is just really good.
So all of us are obviously saying this is going to be a loss. So
blowout.
Let's go ahead and move on to Auburn. We got to speed this up just a little bit. But Auburn, is anybody going to take a chance here? Caleb, you see any way we beat Auburn down there?
No.
No. You're very talkative tonight.
4-2 for Caleb.
4-2 for Caleb. See, the thing is with me, I believe it was the SEC Mike guy tweeted out a list of the top 25 most overrated, underrated, and
Auburn is overrated.
Auburn's overrated.
Yeah.
Auburn's overrated. And there's
16,
years
17.
Gus Malzahn down there. I feel like, and it might just be Auburn in general, they sometimes are ranked high and they are complete busts. And then sometimes they are ranked low or not ranked, and then they end up being contending for a national championship.
When he needs a contract.
Keeping the Iron Bowl.
When he needs a contract.
Yeah, when he needs a contract. That's very true.
That's just how I see it.
And does he need one right now?
No, he just got a big one.
Let's say I thought so. One way or another, I mean, this Auburn team could be a bust. They could be just as good as everybody thinks they are. I think we could keep this game close, but I think we lose. I think it's a fairly easy loss.
I think it's going to be a loss. I think this is one of those games that ends up being a lot closer than coming off of a not disappointing, but a pretty bad loss to Georgia. We get a bye week before we go to Auburn.
I won't say we don't have a chance, but
I think we do have a chance. I think we have just as much of a chance in this game as we do at South Carolina because of the bye week. Because of the bye week is why I'm saying that. We're coming off of a week.
Bye week's overrated, but
you play home against Alabama, then you go to South Carolina, or you play bye week.
They're coming off their bye too.
Are they?
Yep.
So no, yeah, okay. If they're coming off their bye,
no, they play Mississippi. They play at Mississippi State the week beforehand.
Okay, then.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That could be a tough game for them. probably.
That's why
Mississippi State's a very underrated team, and they could shock some people. But
I agree. That's why I think that this game, you have just as good of a chance as beating Auburn this year as you do South Carolina, simply because of the way that the games fall. I believe South Carolina gets a bye week before they play us. We play Alabama before we play them. Auburn plays at Mississippi State. We have a bye week before we play Auburn. So I think the way the schedule sets up, I think you've got just an even chance to beat Auburn as you do South Carolina. But the way it'll get looked at the end of the year, if you beat South Carolina and not Auburn, or Auburn and not South Carolina, the Auburn win will look a lot better because it's just a special thing anytime you can beat Auburn. We've just had such a hard time beating Auburn.
We've had a hard time beating any SEC West team recently.
Exactly.
We played almost every SEC West team a year that they're good.
Yep. And hopefully next year, Mississippi State should be in a real rebuilding year coming into Neyland in a year when we should be going 9-3,
knowing us are
10-2.
going to be coming off of a championship level year.
Well, they're graduating all their best guys, is what I'm saying.
We'll see.
But I expect if they do anything decent this year, that Moorhead will be able to bring in a decent recruiting class. You think?
I mean, if they go 10-2, 11-1,
not that crazy.
I'd say I could see them being in the talks at the end of the year for. Depending on who they beat, I mean, I don't think they'll beat Bama, but if they do happen to beat Bama,
by the way, we'd like to tell you that we're brought to you by the cool and crisp flavor of Budweiser. No, we're not actually. If you'd like to sponsor us, though, we are looking for sponsor at all times. Sorry, I just had to interrupt you there for a second.
Anyway, let's move on from the Auburn game. Let's go on to one of my least favorite teams ever. Second least favorite, right behind Florida, Alabama.
Ohio State's ahead. We never play them.
Ohio State's ahead?
Yeah.
I hate Ohio State. One way or another. I hate Ohio State. I hate Alabama.
Fighting Zach Smiths.
Yeah.
With his cock rings.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Triple XL.
Triple XL? Oh, my goodness. Caleb Caldwell, what is your take on this Alabama football game?
I think we win.
You think we win?
No.
I'm about to say, man, that's risky.
It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough to watch.
What was your prediction earlier?
I still stick with it.
Ago?
This game is within a touchdown heading into the fourth quarter.
You said halftime. You changed that to the fourth quarter?
No, I said after three quarters.
Okay, my bad. I think that's a very dumb prediction, in my opinion.
Did you say? Yeah, you said it was going to be within a touchdown in the fourth quarter, and you said that we were going to beat Missouri
by 3 touchdowns.
By 3 touchdowns. That's what I said.
And that we were deciding which was the hotter take.
Uh-huh.
I agree that Bama being within a touchdown is still the hotter take.
Hotter take? Okay.
Yes.
I think we keep this game close for the first quarter. I think they run away with it in the second quarter, and then we maybe score a little bit in the second half after they put in their second string. When they're in cruise control and getting their backup guys some playing times, a.k.a. Jalen Hurts is going to be a quarterback at that point. I like Tua. Tua's going to start. I hate him because he's an Alabama player, but I like Tua as a quarterback. So I wish we get his brother.
Yeah.
But that doesn't look like it's going to happen either. So Bama wins this game. I feel like
something like the 2014 score, 34-20 Alabama.
2014.
That's what you're thinking?
That's the year that Peterman started and Dobbs came in. Is that what you're thinking, close to the score?
Final score?
Yeah.
No, I'm thinking more like 45-14 or something like that. I think that, I would think that we would do better in this game. If Bama was before the Georgia game, if we swapped Alabama and Georgia, we might play much better.
But coming off a bad loss, he's running this score up.
Yeah.
As much as he can. I mean, I think playing a former coach of his, I mean, even though he and Pruitt, I'm sure, are still going to be friends, that is always going to be ultra competitive. That's going to be, whatever level you're at, if you're at Little League dads that are friends, they're going to coach the crap out of that Little League game.
He's got to show him who daddy is.
He's got
to show him who daddy is.
He's not trying to, like I said, he's not trying to keep Butch Jones' job this year.
Just a crazy stat looking at this game. Blake Sims threw for 286 yards and 2 touchdowns. Amari Cooper had 225 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns.
Sounds about right. I mean, that was their team.
Lane ran that little screen and
first play of the game.
Yep.
Came across on a fake jet sweep that turned into a screen and took it down the sideline. Is that right?
I think so.
I believe so.
Well, so where are we all sitting right here? Let's clarify. 3 and 4.
I'm at 3 and 4. Yep. We're all at the same.
3 and 4. Kev at 4 and 3.
4 and 3.
Yeah.
4-3. All three of us sitting at 4-game losing streaks. 3-game.
3-game losing
3-game.
streaks.
So next we got at South Carolina. Kev, what are you thinking?
South Carolina.
Must chump.
They look pretty good this year.
I agree.
You think they look pretty good so far this year?
So from what I've been reading, yeah.
What have you been reading?
My one column I've read on the side of the ESPN page as I was looking at NBA scores 3 weeks ago.
NBA scores in the summer.
WNBA.
Oh,
Sorry.
WNBA.
It popped across the bottom. South Carolina looking good in fall camp. I was like, I think they're going to be pretty good this year.
Got it.
Well, so what are you calling then, huh? What are you calling? Tennessee win or South Carolina win?
It's a big one, South Carolina.
They win South Carolina.
Like they blow us out?
No, it's just a big game.
I agree. I think it is a big game. I think this is the game at what point you see just how good this team is really. This is the game where you see where
beat
it
up
is.
this team is.
Yes.
That's also very true.
Because
in my opinion, I agree with that. But in my opinion, any strength coach worth of shit is going to keep his team healthy some way, one way or another. I mean, from what I heard from UT's ex-strength coach, there's a very clear-cut reason why UT had so many injuries, especially last year and the year before. And I can tell you this, we never had stuff like that happen to us at ETSU. I mean, we had some injuries, of course, because injuries are part of the game, but
it was all part
like
of the
that,
process.
no.
It's part of the process.
Part of the process, brick by brick, right?
No matter how many players got hurt, we still built them into champions of life.
They
They
were
came in
champions
here
of
with 5-star hearts, but not 5-star durability.
Oh my goodness. Well, I agree with Caleb. I agree with Caleb personally. I think South Carolina wins this game.
Right.
I think that South Carolina has a Heisman cannon on their team, whose name I forget off the top of my head.
Debo Samuel or Jake Bentley?
Debo Samuel. I think, in terms of wide receiver, I don't think that I think he's very good. I'll be interested to see how he looks coming back off this injury from last year.
What was it?
Something like that. I think Jake Bentley's an underrated quarterback as well, even though he's a junior in college and
Should have
19 years old.
Should have been at his homecoming dance as he's
like
beating
that.
Tennessee.
Oh,
Good
pissed me
grief! I
off
could
more
not
than
get it.
anything else.
They could not say it enough on that
Pissed me
broadcast.
off. Yeah, I know. But I do think that they're an under.
He's still
I think
such
they're.
an overrated quarter. I'm gonna pull up his stats just to make sure.
I agree. But while Auburn is an overrated team, I think South Carolina as a team is very underrated. And while I hate Will Muschamp because we can't seem to beat him, I think we're going to go another year without beating him because I think he's put together a pretty good squad at South Carolina.
62% completion percentage for 2,700 yards, 18 touchdowns to 12 picks. It's just.
I'm not saying it's great, but
What is that? What is that per
think-
game?
but-
2,700, and they played 13 games last
It's a little
year.
over 200 games.
Yeah,
No, not
I'm-
13. Not 13. I didn't count the vote.
That's also he loses his best wide receiver.
207.
He loses his best wide receiver there. Was that in the UT? Was that in the Tennessee game?
But think about it. I'm sure that his numbers changed a lot
I'm
after
sure.
Debo. I mean,
When you have somebody of that caliber,
South
you
Carolina's
lose them.
season took a nosedive after that guy got hurt. So
You've got a young quarterback, a great wide receiver who gets hurt. What else? That's generally what happens when something like that happens.
Our offense took off when Jennings got hurt last year.
Well, that's a little
Just for one
that's
game.
very
For one game.
Did we really?
Quez Callaway.
I'm just kidding.
But other than that,
the Georgia Tech
the Georgia Tech game.
The Georgia Tech game was something else.
South Carolina went 35-31 in their first two games. He gets hurt. They score 13, 17, 17.
That's what happens when you lose a
Then
wide
they went off
receiver
for
like
48.
that. Yeah,
against Arkansas, but Arkansas was garbage.
Arkansas was garbage.
15
It'll be
against
garbage again
us.
this year. That's a hot take.
15 against our defense.
Yeah.
Our defense.
Yeah. It's very South Carolina could be a very improved team. I think they will be, but
We'll see.
I think we lose this one.
What we got next? So we're all sitting 3-5, 3-5, 3-5, 4-4.
Well, do you guys have us losing against as well, both of you?
I do. I think it's going to be very, very close, but I think that we've already talked about It's an away game. It's right after the Bama game where more than likely, we've already discussed it in the previous podcast, it's Pruitt, Saban, rematch, whatever. I mean, that game is going to have a lot of emotion in Neyland. We're going to try and make it competitive, make a good showing, improve its first year. And if we just get shellacked, it's going to be really hard to come out fired out for that South Carolina game. But look, if it's a mature team and a good coaching staff, that's what you do when you you have to be able to come back and say, look, let's perform at the highest level these last 5 games and close the season out and make a name and really start this Tennessee rebuilding process. Because if you close you saw what it did for Butch Jones even in his seasons. When you close with 4 or 5 wins at the end of the season, it's great momentum for recruiting and into the offseason. So I think we do lose this one real close. But like I said, if we do win, I think it will be huge, and I think it could jumpstart hopefully the program.
Absolutely.
All right, we're running a little bit up against it right now. So the next game is against Charlotte. I can go ahead and say we're all penciling in a W here.
Yep. So breaking that for loss streak.
Yes.
Going 4-5 at that
4-5,
point.
5-4. Next game is going to be Kentucky at home. Let's just quickly start going through some of these. I think the Kentucky game, Kentucky takes a step back this year. They're having to replace their quarterback that's been there the last couple of years. They still have their running back, Ben, what's his name?
I don't know that guy. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Ben Benson?
Yes.
No, Benny
Snell. Yeah, Benny Snell.
Still have him. They're still going to be an okay team. It's not going to be like we're going to walk over them, but as we should beat them every year. Last year we got beat by them. Last time we got beat by them, we came out the next year and stomped them. Yep. I think the same thing is going to happen this year. Anybody think Kentucky's got a chance in this one?
I think it'll be close. I think it could be closer than you expect, but I do think we beat them.
I think 15 plus, in my opinion.
I think we win, and according to me, we're bowl eligible.
All right.
Missouri is the next team. Let's just go ahead and where we're at. 5-5. Is that right?
5-5. Yep, 5-5.
5-5 with 2 games left.
6-4.
6-4.
5-5. All right, Missouri again. Get another home game. That's pretty awesome. We get 3 home games in a row before we head to Vanderbilt at the end. So 3 home games near the end of the season is always kind of cool.
Essential home game.
Essential home game against Vanderbilt because we make that high school stadium ours every time that we go over there. Missouri. I'll start it off. I'm going to go ahead and say I think that's going to be a close one that we lose. That's another one that I'm really on the fence. If we come out the first week against West Virginia and show that we can stop the pass, I feel a lot better about this game. I think it's going to get into another shootout type scenario where they score high 30s, we score high 20s, mid to low 30s, somewhere in that range, end up losing that game. So I'm sitting right now with 1 game left at 5-6, needing to beat Vanderbilt to be bowl eligible.
I think that at this point in the season that this team will have grown up a lot. I think that you're going to see an offense that can exhibit ball control, get with a good ground game, and at this point either a pretty experienced game-tested Garantano or extreme veteran Keller Christ. I mean, hopefully we're going to be able to – I think we've alluded to it a little bit, but I think that Tyson Helton knows and Jeremy Pruitt know their team, know the talent that they have, know the ability that they have and the depth that they have. Absolutely. So I don't think that they're going to try and get in shootout games. They're going to try and control tempo, control the clock, and try and take their chances with sparingly and at the right times, but otherwise to really avoid turnovers that will lose us the game outright. And so I think that in that I like our chances that far. Second to last game of the season, again at home against Doofus Dooley, running their offense. I
get
think,
you a sandwich right.
Yeah, I think that we're able to pull a close one out against Drew Lock. We've already talked about his struggles anywhere other than throwing the ball deep, typically down the sidelines. He is
pretty fantastic.
So
he's good down the field.
Shorter than that,
in my opinion, I see Drew Lock taking a step back in this year, possibly. I think he's I agree. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's overrated.
That's also the best receiver from last year too.
Yes, exactly. I'm holding with my prediction. I'm gonna actually up my take on my hot take. I say this is a really easy game for us. I could see us coming out there for multiple reasons, winning by quite a bit, more than 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, something like that, possibly. The reason why is I see a wide receiver core that might be your strongest group. Your receiving core might be your strongest group on the field this year. Very possible. With Marquez Callaway, Juwan Jennings, Dominic Woods, Anderson.
Tight end, yeah.
Tight end. And they said,
Jordan
I just
Murphy,
read an article.
Brandon Johnson, Tyler Bird.
Yep. I mean, you can name a lot of people who had a lot of potential last year, who had a lot of passes overthrown to them. Yep, Josh Palmer,
That's
Tyler
what brings
Bird.
that to mind right there.
Josh Palmer's number 1 right there on that list. I could see this game easily becoming a shootout where Tennessee can get up in points real fast, and this secondary for us, that is our strongest point on defense, in my opinion, or at least our safeties. I can see this secondary doing a very good job of shutting down the long game and making Drew Lock throw short passes, and he can't complete them. I could very easily see this game getting out of hand fast in Tennessee's favor. Either that or pulling away a lot in the second half. I think Tennessee wins this one. I'm sitting at, what is that now? 6-5.
You're 6-5. What do you got?
Same.
6-5, and I'm at 5-6, and Caleb's at. What do you got? What do you got for this game? You've not made your prediction yet. Quickly.
I say Tennessee dominates the second half and wins it, just like Matt said.
Caleb's at 7-4, on pace for a probable 8-4 at this point. I hope the season.
We'll see.
I was listening to Vandy.
We'll see.
I hope Tennessee season ends up the way you're predicting. It'd be awesome.
That is true.
Let's go ahead. We got 3 minutes to get through this final game. Vanderbilt, like John's saying, we always do a good job of taking over that stadium. I expect nothing less this year. We're still partnering up with Honky Tonk Party Express for that game, for the tailgate.
Very fun experience, guys.
We'll have a contest coming out pretty soon involving them that we'll announce within the coming week.
And we'll have you guys join us. The winner of that contest will
Yes.
be joining us on a once-in-a-lifetime experience on the Honky Tonk Express bus.
It's the
Party bus.
Yes, it's one of the best new tourist attractions that there are in Nashville.
Nashville and in the state, actually.
Yeah.
They were named best in the state, I do believe, recently. Correct, John? Somewhat recently, maybe over the summer, last summer, or something along those lines. One of the best attraction things.
Yeah, one way or another, it's a pretty cool opportunity. If you've not had a chance to check them out, we'll tweet out their info later on this afternoon, if not tomorrow. Enough of that. Let's go ahead and get into the Vanderbilt game. Caleb, we'll let you start. Vanderbilt High School, home of the ACT scores. Caleb, go. Oh, sorry, they do the SAT. Caleb, go ahead.
W.
George? I tell you what, I look at that team and I think, now that's going to be a W.
I say Tennessee wins.
All right.
All right, then.
Matt, what you got?
Easy Tennessee win. I think that at this point in the season, Tennessee has
This is the final game
solidified their
for whatever.
dominant. I don't think Jeremy
For
Pruitt.
Captain Puffy Vest.
I think Jeremy Pruitt wants to prove a point to end this season.
Yeah.
I would love to see him do this. I would love to see this score. If we're at 40-0 in the end of the third quarter, I'd love him to put up another 30 on him. That's how I feel about Vanderbilt.
Won't do it, but
He won't do it, obviously, but I think that this game could very easily be a 45-10 game for us.
I'm hoping. I would love that.
What you got, John?
We're going to win. We're going to beat Vandy. And I think for all the same reasons, it's, as we already discussed, huge to end the season well. This has apparently become a rivalry in the very recent past.
That ends there.
And
I agree.
I think that Pruitt has harped on enough times the Tennessee that he remembers growing up, and the Tennessee that he remembers doesn't even.
Was a championship team.
Vanderbilt doesn't even sniff.
No.
Wins against us. I mean, It's the classic picture, triple zeros in Dudley or wherever it was like 60-0. I mean, It should be that every year.
Yeah.
You are supposed to be the blue chip dominant program of the state.
Yep.
And I think that, as Matt already said, that's what Pruitt is going to try and establish.
Yeah.
I think it will be a blowout, but I do think that it'll be I think they get 3 scores on us and try and make it. But I could see a 45-21 type game.
Yeah.
Hashtag replace Vanderbilt in the SEC with Memphis.
Now we need the academics. I'll make it short, sweet. Tennessee gets to 6-6 with this win. I think it'll be a 30, high 30s to the low 20s, something along those lines. Yeah, not getting the scores again. I keep throwing out scores. We'll give actual scores once it gets into those game weeks.
They'll obviously be updated.
Yes, obviously those will change from what we're at right now. This is Derek Mason's final game coaching the Vanderbilt Commodores as he ends a 3-9 season. Fired.
Yep.
So let's move on. We got a little bit of time, and I apologize if we run over this time, but this next part is really important to Orange-White Takeover because it's what we're about. It's the passion. It's what we like to do. It's what we want to see our fan base do. It's all the things that bring us together as a fan base, and it is what memories. What is your favorite memory or favorite game day experience at a Vols game? Whether it's a tailgate going into the game, what is your favorite memory? And which one of you wants to start?
I'll start. I've got a little bit more limited experience with this in my adult life than these two guys have. I played college football up until
not that kind of game day experience.
Not that kind of game day experience. I played college football through the 2016 season. So 2017, that last season was the first time I got to go to the majority of games. I went to a game every other year though on my bye week. But my favorite college game day experience, and not simply because we won, was the Georgia Tech game last year. We got out there. It was a night game to start off with. Gave us plenty of time to tailgate in the morning. Got to heckle some very smart Georgia Tech fans.
That's a Tech. That's a Tech. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
You too.
When you got quite a good amount of beer in you, you tend to do some outlandish things. No, it was fun. We had a huge group of people down there. Most of us were there for the. We've got a friend who went to the University of Alabama, who was in Atlanta last year for the Alabama-Florida State game on Friday or on Saturday, and most of us were down there for that as well. And we got to go out there and mess with some Alabama fans a couple days before. But the day of, we had a huge group. Got out there early. We're out there from 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. when the game started. Obviously, exhilarating game. I thought we were going to go. I thought Georgia Tech was going to be number 2 at the end of the year, and I thought we were going to be number 1. After the way we looked in parts of those games, obviously disappointing first half, but it was just fun. It was a great weekend. Weekend in Atlanta doing multiple different things, but the game day itself, good music. Great people.
It was a great weekend.
Good drinks.
Yeah. Yep. It was a great weekend. It was a long weekend. We got to do a lot of fun things.
Fun time.
Absolutely.
It was easily my favorite game day experience.
John, what's your favorite game day experience? You've had a little bit. Me and you have been doing tailgates together for at least, this will be our 5th year, doing it at least. First years we're not as many together, but this will be our 3rd season in a row where we'll be doing tailgates together every time. So.
Yep. It's somewhat, I guess, cliche, but I got to go with the Georgia 2016.
Yeah, that was something else, too. I was there for that one.
You were not there.
I was there for that one.
The Hail Mary?
Georgia?
Where we stopped?
No,
that was in Georgia. No. The year before I was
Athens.
there.
No, so
the year before I was there.
Shut up.
To not get into too many specifics, Noah was off to just a slow start that morning, tailgating, but we eventually got him rolling. We got over to, I think it was the SIGAP house, and just hung out, and we were introduced to the beautiful game of Beersby.
Which we will explain to you in the very near future.
We will have an infomercial coming soon with all the tailgating games.
It's so it was a great day of tailgating. Just it's a beautiful campus. It was a lot of hype around the game. Obviously, both teams undefeated.
Tennessee
going
ranked
into it.
1 above Georgia or 1 below Georgia.
No,
we were up. We were like number
we were
10
9
or 11 at that point. We may have been.
We may have been
9. I thought we got to 9 after beating them to go to 10.
I think so.
One way or another, both teams were in the top 25. Georgia was at like 23, 24. We were in the low teens to high single digits.
But almost got in 2 or 3 fights on the way to the stadium. Thanks to
Georgia fans for you.
Thanks to nobody in particular.
A car got the way.
A car got in the way. A car got in the way.
You think that was cute?
Wham!
But so we roasted in the upper deck for the first half. Got to watch the Vols take a beating. Had a friend down the student section, so we were able to make our way down and fit half a butt on the aisle. Half a butt on the seat,
Half cheek.
And
Half cheeking out there.
So just a quarter butt.
Full chicken.
Down in the third or fourth row, basically on the end zone line, and we slowly started making what seemed to be a pretty decent effort of a comeback. And honestly, yeah, I really the full Cinderella effect. I was like, oh my god! When Derek Barnett, we got the sack, got the fumble recovery. I was like, we're really gonna do this. And and then immediately, or next drive, Eason throws their own Hail Mary, and from that moment, Noah can tell you, stood in silence. I was infuriated. I was heartbroken. Yep. I was heartbroken. I knew as a DB, that's the one thing you can't do.
Andrew's face.
And
surrender Cobra.
Surrender Cobra at that point.
We got the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Evan Berry got a decent return. Noah looks at me and was like, we think we even have a decent chance, and I didn't say anything because I didn't think we did. I was like, hell no.
Nobody ever. Nobody ever converts nobody ever wins those games, and especially not Tennessee.
The other team scores with under 30 seconds left and is kicking off. And we had I guess
we got
the
two
score
plays
with under 10 seconds left. Like 15.
Did we get a good kickoff?
They scored with like
20.
20. We didn't get a playoff.
No,
we had the kick return that took us down to like 8 seconds, and then because you had. I remember them saying you had time to get one play off, get it out of bounds, and try to kick a long field goal.
And it was a reasonable Hail Mary attempt. I had zero confidence in catching and making that play.
Ron Jennings was a dog,
and just being on that, it was almost.
I wish I had a GoPro on my head.
It was almost dead even with our eye line. You just saw orange gloves right in the front of just the entire Georgia pack, and literally the entire. It was massive.
I wish I had a video of it.
Yeah. The whole student section exploded. We were sitting next to a sweet Georgia husband and wife with their 2-year-old child. It was a young child.
I don't know how old, but
we were trying to contain ourselves, but it was impossible. I mean, everybody lost their crap. Rocky Top several times, standing on the walls. I mean,
my favorite thing was
it was the most exciting thing that I ever got to experience. I knew that I'd never see something like that, more than likely in Tennessee sports again.
Well, my favorite thing, right as soon as that happened, literally 3 or 4 minutes later, everybody's cheering. You got this Georgia jackass about 4 rows behind. Go, ESPN says that he didn't catch it.
The game's over. Doesn't matter.
Your team's in the locker room.
All right.
Runner-up Georgia game for me, though. That's my favorite Georgia game, obviously.
Second favorite. The 2015 game was awesome. Josh Smith making that catch on 4th and 23.
I was talking about the moves Noah made during that.
Oh,
yeah. That's a story for another time, guys. I'll let you know. Georgia week, maybe.
My favorite, it's got to be, what was it? I guess it's the 2015 Missouri game. We hadn't beat Missouri yet since they had come into the SEC. We head over the 9-hour trip over to Columbia, Missouri, Como, as they like to call it. This was right after the poop swastikas and the rioting and the fake news over there.
Poop swastikas.
Yes.
My favorite time.
Yes. It's an America pastime. But we go over there, and I got to say, we show up, and nobody's on campus. This is Thanksgiving weekend. Missouri gets a full week off for Thanksgiving, so this is the beginning weekend of Thanksgiving. There's nobody on campus except for the few people that, like to party, like to go to the games. That's part of there, just like us. I'm sure if the same thing happened here, we'd stay on campus, and we'd go to the game. We'd have fun that weekend. So just met some incredible fans, Missouri fans during that trip. Had a lot of fun at the different bars and restaurants that we went to. Mm-hmm. That was my first introduction into Big 12 football, where I played Rocky Top on my loudspeaker in their student union UC, getting food.
Didn't do a damn thing about it.
Nobody even said a word to me, and I was like, You all are a bunch of,
girls, women.
Keeping it clean
Kill
for the young
couples.
folk. Yes. But it was a lot of fun. It was my first introduction to, the state of Missouri, just seeing all those kind of things. And then we get down and, you could have bought tickets through UT for face value, which was like $55, $60. But instead, we get on StubHub, and we end up 12 rows off on the goal line, which just happens to be in the Missouri season ticket section. And we stand up just like every football fan should. We stand up the entire game, and the person behind us, it's a family, actually. It's actually two families, and they keep yelling to sit down, blah, blah, blah. They show a highlight of number 3 Kansas playing number 2 Missouri or something along those lines, and one of our guys goes, how far back they have to go to get this clip? And the guy behind us looks at him and goes, how far back's your hairline go? And that just started a riff back and forth. Be like, how far do y'all have to go back for your last national championship? Oh, wait, y'all don't have one. That kind of thing. But it was just a really fun trip. My first real introduction into traveling. It's the first time I've ever tailgated at an away game, hung out with some really cool people. It was I don't think it got above 22 degrees that day. And we
this last year Missouri game when we were there too, it was about the same.
It gets cold over there in November, but it was such a fun experience, and that's what really
highly recommend Como.
Yeah, Como is definitely one of those trips.
You guys have made 2 trips. I've made 1 so far.
I've made 2.
You
I'm
made
the only
2.
one that
We
made
both
2.
made
Yes.
1. It was a fun place to visit.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Next year, anybody that can, but that's really the trip that I look back at and point to as I wasted so much time that trip trying to find people to tailgate with, trying to find parking, trying to find where's the best food or where's the best place to go hang out on a Friday night. I feel like I wasted a lot of time, and then that's what really pushed me into doing something like this is, hey, there's some fans over here tailgating. Head over there. That kind of thing that would have been really cool to have at that point. So, Kev, you have any fun game day experience? We're running up a little bit against it, but I'll give you a minute or two if you have anything.
I have been to a very small amount of UT football games.
That's going to change this year. That's going to change this year.
I don't think so.
No,
Did you go to any games in 2016?
You didn't go to a Florida game?
He was still
the last
a lost soul,
300 Saturdays.
He was a lost soul at that point in his time, at that point in his life. We've saved him since then. It's a very religious thing that we've done for him.
Pruitt Skull Christ has brought him to
the Lord. He's brought him home. He's brought him back to dad.
Yeah, that is good. We're not going to have time to get to our playoff predictions, which is okay. It's not really the kind of thing that we're going to be doing on here is looking at a national scale. Unless the Vols get into that national competition. By God, we'll be looking at the national picture.
We're winning the Natty this year.
Is that orange Kool-Aid right there?
Yeah. Brought to you by Sam Adams.
Competing brands are who we like to represent. Some news on some actually breaking news for Orange&White Takeover, and this is really big news for us. During away game weeks, just like next week, we will be on 3 and Out on 1340, 925 on Tuesday morning. We'll be on there talking about this next Tuesday. Charlotte will be talking about where's the best place to park. Speaking on that before I forget, we have been told that Moorhead Street is the place to park and tailgate. It runs basically parallel with the stadium.
It's only about a half mile away too, right?
Yeah, I mean, depending on where the street, because the street runs as close as 100 yards from there.
Yeah,
but depending on where we're parking, they've told us not to waste a whole bunch of money getting on and trying to find parking to go out there super early. And that's what we're going to do, probably 7:30 in the morning, go down there, find some parking. We'll tweet out exactly where we are. That way y'all can find us, and it'll be a BYOB type thing. We're not going to have drinks and food for y'all to bring your own things, but this will be a place that all the Vol fans that are traveling that don't have anywhere else to tailgate can come together and, have a great time. That's what we're about. But continuing on my point, we will be on the show with Houston Cress, Nate Hodge on 9:25 on Tuesday mornings of away games. We'll just be talking about the stuff that we have on our website, the restaurants, bars, parking, tailgating, that kind of thing, which is awesome. Also, tomorrow, Thursday, August, is tomorrow the 23rd. We will be at Backyard Burger down off Kingston Pike, down near where Pellissippi and Kingston Pike meet up. We'll be there from probably 11:30 until 2:30, something along those lines. If you'd like to swing by and say hello. The rest of Fox Sports Knoxville will be there too. It'll be a pretty awesome thing. Come grab a burger. Great place to eat. You boys have anything else you'd like to say?
Just keep an eye out. All the updates for away games. We'll keep you in the loop. Obviously, we're giving you every up-to-date information on parking, tailgating for Charlotte as we get it. As we already said, this is going to be a game day type thing that we're going to have to do, but we'll give you as much notice as possible, get the best setup possible, and we'll rock out for the Vols.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and one more thing.
Itching for game day over here.
Absolutely. One more thing before we hop off. We will have, during game week, the weeks that we have a game beforehand, we'll have a game day report card written by Matt Brewer. That Thursday night or Friday, we'll have the best game preview around, and then John, Mike, and Alex are going to try to bring you all some, creative ideas for some different articles that we'll have out midweek, depending on how the season is going. So,
absolutely.
Anybody else have anything else to say? Any last remarks?
I'm excited. I'm ready for the season. It's been however many days since college football has been around, since January, and I'm itching for it. Yeah, I love it. The favorite time of the year.
Thank you, Caleb, for being a special guest in here. And if anybody else has anything, I'll go ahead and sign us off.
Special thanks to our sponsors over at Old Road.
We'll continue to say, thank you for tuning in. I'm Noah Caldwell.
Matt Brewer.
John Broyles. We are Orange&White Takeover. Stay safe.
Wish that I was on a rocky top down in the Tennessee hills.